Okay, this is part 2 of my yoga practice standing pose here. Sorry, I had an interruption. Again, I'm doing this from home. So I apologize. If you were following along with me, we just finished triangle on one side. We're gonna do our other side triangle. So triangle, again, for a recap, is your both legs are straight, okay? The front foot is facing towards the front of the mat. The back foot is facing towards the side. And again, you can stay right here and just slide your hand down to a chair. Or if you're having something like a block, you can prop your hand on the block or to the floor, but that would be the most advanced way to do it was with the hand all the way down. You'll feel a really deep stretch. So if you're propped up on a chair or a block, that's excellent. And then that top hand or back arm can come up. Fingers outstretched up to the ceiling, taking a few more breaths here. And then again, remember the safest way to come out of this here as a beginner is to bend that front knee and step back to the front of your mat. Now I believe I said we were gonna do just that last standing pose, but I would like to show you one more. If you have a chair, you're gonna use the back of it and you are going to use this for balance right here. And we're doing a hip flexor stretch. A lot of us are doing a lot of sitting, typing, computer work, whatnot, and our hip flexors get tight, so we are gonna stretch them. So your right foot's gonna stay forward, you're gonna step your left foot back, your heel is lifted on your left foot, and if you can see mine here, when it's lifted, and then we're just gonna drop that knee down until you feel a stretch, and you're trying to push that left hip forward, draw your right hip back, you should feel it, without too much motion. Now this can also be done on the mat. So if you feel comfortable, I'm gonna show you that version because you might actually get a better stretch that way. So if you feel comfortable enough to come down on your mat, on your knees again, so if you were able to do the cat-cow, you can probably do this. This one does work better if you have something to prop both of your hands on though, I will say. So it is nice though because that back leg is completely supported. You're not holding that knee up in space. In the air. So you're going to be pretty much in a supported lunge with your knee on the mat. Kneeling, lunging forward, keep your chest lifted. You don't want to collapse your upper body into this. But this is really nice because that back leg is completely supported. The shin is all the way on the mat and you're just shifting your weight forward so you really get a great stretch in that hip flexor. And when you do some yoga flow classes, or if you're kind of pairing this with the back of the body, it's really nice to go right back into a hamstring stretch. So I'll show that here too. You just shift back with your blocks. You shift that right hip back, little tiny bend in that knee, and you're stretching the hamstring on the other leg. So let's come back forward. We're gonna come back to a standing pose here. So if you're gonna set up with the chair, hands on the back, you are going to step back and keep that knee lifted. Okay, so you're feeling that hip flexor. If you'd like to go all the way down to the ground and you have blocks or something to prop yourself up on again, you can lower that back knee for support. Just let it all go. You're bending and lunging forward with that supported leg in the back, getting a good right hip flexor stretch. Great job. One more breath here. And then you can come out of it and tip back to that hamstring stretch on the left side. We have to be even, so if you did it on the other side, please do it on this side. Good, and then come back forward and then step up. And inhaling up. Exhale, forward fold. Inhaling up. Exhale, arms at your sides. So yoga practices, of course, involve a lot of balance, right? But some of the poses are specifically for balance. So if you would like, I would like you to have something to hold on to, something in front of you just in case. We're gonna do tree pose, which has several levels. The most basic, I'll show you back here, is keeping one foot grounded completely. You're gonna just bring your heel up to just above your ankle, keep your toes grounded on the floor, and this is tree. And you can choose several different levels with the lower body and the upper body. So if you don't feel like you have great balance, but you're steady here, then you can grow your tree branches up. If you need a little bit more with the lower body, you can bring your heel up to your calf muscle. So your whole foot is up on your lower leg. Again, maybe you just stay here. A next step up from here be growing your tree branches. And if you are very advanced and you've tried this before, your foot can come up on your inner thigh. Again, that is going to be the most challenging. If you want to go for it anyway, just make sure just try holding on. You can bring that foot up to your inner thigh. Just make sure that you're not putting pressure on that knee joint so your heel is firmly pressing into your inner thigh. So again, the most advanced would be this pose with the legs and then lifting both hands. I'm just going to keep one down for sake of keeping my balance and not falling. But if you fall, have a little humor, come out of it, get back into it. And let's completely release. We'll go to the other side. So you're going to ground through that right foot. Again, that basic pose here is the heel lifted just on the calf muscle. The toes are on the ground. And again, growing branches if you'd like. Or bringing it up onto the calf. Branches again if you'd like. Taking deep breaths all the while. And recognizing that you might have a stronger leg. It may be different from your dominant arm or hand. Again, if you would like to try it on this side, you can bring that heel to your inner thigh and grow a branch or two. Another breath in and out. Great job. Some more simple balance exercises that aren't traditional yoga poses are some great things like standing leg lifts. So I'm just going to show you and give you a couple ideas. You could do that. You can do a little one leg marching. You could tap your toes down or not. This is actually a good hip flexor strengthener. Again, you'd want to make sure you do the same thing on both sides. Hip flexor strengthener. Okay, different ideas for you as you're trying to get in some home exercise routines. So I'm going to bring this chair out of the way. Again, we're going to sit either in a chair or back on your mat and do a couple more upper body stretches before we end our yoga practice today. So I'd like to take a little bit deeper of a twist now that we're really fully warmed up. So we're going to take an inhale, exhale, twist. Good. See if you can feel a little difference from the beginning of your yoga practice when we did this. Our muscles were cold. We weren't as relaxed. Now we've been breathing deeply together for say 20 minutes or so. Inhaling up, exhaling to the other side. Good, and inhaling up, exhaling hands to knees. We're gonna round back and inhale up. Now we're gonna do a nice side body stretch. So inhale up, drop one hand down to the floor beside you and just ground. Press both your hips down into the floor. You're gonna use that leverage to push and kind of reach up and over. And we're gonna do a little side to side flow. This is a great warm up too, but can also be a great cool down. So holding here, and then we're gonna put a little bit of slow flow. Again, we are working on cooling down from this practice today. And we're gonna do 3 total on each side. Last one to this side and one more to the other. Good, now walk those fingertips around beside you. You're really going to tent those fingertips on your mat or ground beneath you, lifting your chest up. This should feel great in your upper back and shoulder blades. And then we're gonna reach and round forward. So similar to our cat-cow motion, but we're just doing something different with the hands. Tent those fingertips behind you. And reach forward again. Good, now bring your arms out to a T. There's another standing balance pose called Eagle. Eagle arms is a great upper body stretch, so you're just gonna bring your elbows together. Don't worry about if your hands really like wind around, depending on your arm strength. The idea and the focus of this stretch, I'm gonna shift a little side to side, is that you bring your elbows away from your body, so don't let them collapse in towards your chest, and you're almost like you're trying to push them away from your body. So you feel a great opening. Now if your right arm is on top like mine is, I feel a greater stretch in my right shoulder. You may or may not. but we are going to do this on both sides as well. So completely release. It might help to take really exaggerated shoulder rolls backwards. Bring those arms out into a T, other arm underneath. Whoops, if you mix it up, just go by feel. You'll definitely know if you've already done it. And then again, lifting in through the elbows, pushing away from the upper body. So my left elbow's on top this time. I am feeling it greater in my left side. Really good if you've been doing a lot of desk or computer work. Good, shake those out. I'm gonna do 2 more quick ones before we take our final resting pose of yoga called Shavasana. So just bringing in my awareness and thinking about a lot of computer and typing work that we may all be doing. Let's take a few stretches here. So you're gonna lift your palms out, facing outward. Bring your hands, fingers back towards you. And you can hold this again for as long or as little as you like. It might be quite intense on those forearms. Good. So all these things can be done in a chair. So if you're at the office and you're trying to do some of these things, you know, you could just simply do them in your chair. You don't have to be super warmed up to do all of them, but it'd be great to just break up the day. Okay, so now we've moved into our final resting pose. So Shavasana lets us settle into all the effects of our yoga practice. Now it does involve laying down. So if you are on a mat, please join me in laying down. You might see my dog in the frame here. Of course, you couldn't leave me alone in this whole practice. Sometimes right before you do this, it is really nice, Eli, to just lie down on your back and draw your knees into your chest. You might like to drop your knees to one side in a twist. And if you've never done these things, maybe it's not the time to try. You've never done them, trying in your bed for the first time is a great option. Again, twisting to both sides. If you're seated in a chair, you're just going to start by closing your eyes and completely letting your mind and body go. So if you are going to lay down, Shavasana is completely just laying on your back. Hands up at your side, hands, palms up, arms at your sides, feet relaxed, open to the sides. And you can stay here for several minutes, depending on the style of yoga class and the likes of the teacher. They might keep somebody there for 5 minutes at the end of class. If you're a little short on time, I want you to at least soak up the effects of your practice. Come back to your intention that you started with. Peaceful, calmness, stress relief, just a greater sense of flexibility, greater sense of well-being. We always end with hands in heart center, prayer position, saying the light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you for joining this yoga practice today, and I look forward to doing more with you. Have a great day.